Yeah, we can start now.
Good evening to everyone. A warm welcome to all of you this evening. On behalf of Platform, I, Ms. Pritika, take this opportunity to be the host for today's session on business development in pharma, Capsule 2, under the InFocus series by Platform. At the outset, I would like to introduce Ms. Geeta Srinivasan, founder of Platform. Ms. Geeta is an experienced pharma marketing professional in the Indian healthcare industry. He has worked with domestic companies and healthcare advertising agencies as a brand marketing professional. Presently, she is an independent consultant advising domestic as well as international clients on brand strategy formulation. May I now request Ms. Geeta to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you, including our speaker for the day, Ms. Shweta Gupta. Thank you, Pritika, for giving me the opportunity to say a few words before we start the session today. I would just like to talk a few lines about what we are and what are we intending to do through these sessions. Basically, myself and my partner, who is also on this forum today, Ms. Lakshmi Anantanarayan, both of us pharmacists and marketing professionals have realized the need that pharma students need kind of help in trying to understand what the different areas of functional areas of the organization in the healthcare industry decide to offer. Academics give a lot of knowledge, and you're completely trained in the domain aspect for it. But if you're connected with the industry professionals, you get to understand what exactly happens in the organization. How does a particular functional area work? How does it help you, whether you can make a career in that? So we have that is how we have come with Platform, along with a very distinguished advisory board and a very distinguished panel of mentors. So that is about Platform, which is all there in our website. Now coming to the InFocus, which we kickstarted last week with the nutraceutical series, we just want to talk to you in one particular week about one functional area, giving you the complete knowledge or background or preview about that particular functional area and the challenges that are there, how you as a pharmacist can fit into that particular functional area. And it is our honor and privilege today to present the business development functional area today, which is extremely critical to the healthcare industry. And we have an expert senior professional amongst us today. So we look forward to an extremely insightful participation session and participation for the next 45 minutes or so. Thank you, Pritika. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now like to introduce our speaker for the day, Ms. Shweta Gupta. Ms. Shweta is a postgraduate in pharmacy from ICT Mumbai and has about 17 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry. She started her career as an intellectual property professional and gradually shifted to become a business development professional. A major part of her career has been in business development and portfolio management for generic drugs and specialty products. Portfolio management for generic drugs and specialty products for international markets, mainly US, EU, etc. She is thus a techno-commercial person and has led efforts to identify opportunities for developing within the organization and also licensing products to strengthen the product portfolio. He has the experience of handling the entire life cycle of pharmaceutical products, right from identification to launch. Ma'am, a very warm welcome to you from Platform. It is our privilege to have you with us today to share with us about this function of business development and also how we as pharmacists can make a career in this industry. I'm sure many of us here today do not have much knowledge about this area in the pharma industry. Before we begin, I would like to request all the participants to mute themselves. We will be having an open question and answer session at the end of this presentation. We request all of you to please type your questions in the chat box so that they can be posted to the speaker after the session. I now request you, ma'am, to say a few words before we begin with the session.
Thank you, Kritika, and thank you, platform, for giving me this opportunity to interact with the young students of today who would become professionals very soon and will be growing the pharmaceutical industry. I'm very thankful for the introduction offered and look forward to a wonderful interaction. And also, I'm open to answering any questions currently or if you have later. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So let's begin. Can you please let us know what exactly one means by business development and what roles are covered under it?
Sure, sure. So let me help you understand business development with an example. If you would have joined a pharmaceutical company, or very soon you may join a pharmaceutical company, and your company wants to develop a new product, let's say, for example, aspirin tablet. So you do market research and you identify that there is a need for aspirin tablet in the market. So identifying that there is a need for aspirin tablet is business development. That's where you start from. Now, suppose you develop this aspirin tablet in-house, but in case if you did not have the capability to develop it in-house, you would have searched for partners outside your organization. You would have gone to other companies to look if they have the capability or they have developed aspirin tablet, and you would have in-licensed the product. So that in-licensing part is also business development. Now let's say that you develop this aspirin tablet and you're selling it in India, and now then you think that okay, we are doing well in India, let's take it to the neighboring countries, Sri Lanka, Nepal, like other Southeast Asian countries. So exploring new geographies or identifying new geographies is also business development. Now, if you like think you are just selling it by marketing it to doctors, and you might want to identify some new channels. Like suppose the current one is like by like online selling. That is also because you're identifying an opportunity to boost your business. That's also business development. So whatever I explain, all these functions together are called business development. One more thing is, suppose like now you have aspirin tablet, and some other company in another market does not have aspirin tablet, and you would like that company would like to like buy it from you for entering that market, and you as a company are not interested in that market also, so you would be happy to have a partner and earn more revenues. That's called out licensing. That is also business development. So in a nutshell, business development is identifying new products, new markets, new channels, new partnerships in a capsule. Now let's continue with this example. So suppose like you have out licensed aspirin to other company, or you have in license from another company. So somebody needs to manage that relationship on a day-to-day basis as to what is happening. Is the product on time, or once the product is launched, how is the partnership going? Are we earning the revenues? Is the forecast right? So all that part is called alliance management, because you're managing the alliance. Next is, suppose like you have this aspirin and a cardiovascular division. If you would want to identify more products for cardiovascular, and you build up a cardiovascular portfolio, but somebody needs to manage that portfolio and look at, do we have the right products? Should we add something? Should we delete something because it's not like discontinue because it's no more relevant? That's called portfolio management. And so when you're developing the products in your R&D or externally, somebody needs to manage those products on a day-to-day basis as to how is the development going. So that is called project management. So business development is the main function, and these are also other functions which are very much work in tandem with business development. I hope I'm clear, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. So, ma'am, does business development refer only to overseas businesses, or does it apply to domestic businesses as well?
Definitely applies to even the domestic business. So, usually, business development is a strategic function in which you try to increase your revenues by exploring newer things. So, suppose, like, let's continue with the example we had of aspirin, and you have a cardiovascular division. Now, AstraZeneca, or Merck, or Pfizer has come up with a new cardiovascular product which they would want to launch in India, but they want to partner for it. So, like, you could partner with those MNCs and bring the product in India. So you're increasing. So that is one kind of domestic business development. At the same time, you could partner with other Indian companies. That is also business development. Or you could identify new channels or new geographies within India. Suppose your company was only first present in the Western India, and you want to even now be able to explore the Northeast India. So that would also qualify for business development. So any strategies which you use strategically to be able to maximize your revenues is business development.
Okay, ma'am. What qualities do you think one may need to possess to succeed in this role?
Interesting question. I think the first most important thing is like in business development, you might come across different products, different companies, different geographies. So you should be able to learn new things, and you should be able to learn fast. You might not be so like business development is more like jack of all trades. You should know a bit of everything and be able to assimilate that information coherently and be able to then take it forward within your organization or externally. So it requires you to learn new things and be able to communicate well within the organization or externally. In addition, you should also have a flair for of communicating with different geographies and different be able to understand a bit of accents if you're working for international marketing. So when I had started my career, like I'll give you an example, I had to interact with a Hungarian client, and I found it very difficult to understand whatever was said, even though they were trying to speak English. Because English, even though most of the globe uses English as a language, the accents differ. So I think as you grow, you will learn to like groom yourself to be able to learn or hear different accents better. So in a nutshell, learning new things and being able to communicate clearly, concisely, being able to assimilate thoughts which you have been able to gather, and being able to have communication skills with a bigger geography, I think are most important uh, traits required. Because according to me, like many people, you would get a help from lot of your colleagues, which will be technical experts within your organization to carry the deal forward. So you are the first point of contact. So it is important to understand a bit about the product, but you will get a lot of help internally to be able to understand the product.
Okay, ma'am. That example was interesting, ma'am. What are some of the challenges that one can face in this role?
So challenges are like at times it might just be boggling to keep learning new things. So I think uh, you need to work on it. Secondly, in the sense this is a strategic function, you interact a lot of times with senior management. Not a lot of times, most of your times, your interactions are with senior management within your organization or with senior management of other organizations. So, in my view, this is, I think, which I also face challenges and grew myself in able to interact with senior management. You need to be able to develop a lot more calm and composure during your conversation with them. And also, you need to prepare a lot in advance and be able to speak in a more concise manner, because most of the times senior management is quite busy and have your meetings with them are very short, so you need to be well prepared to interact with them, or also you need a lot more composure to be able to interact. I think that's something which once you enter into business development on the emotional intelligence side, you might have to build in, because I'm assuming that since all of you are pharma professionals, you will be able to help with the pharma knowledge and you can learn that on the job.
Ma'am, what do you think is the career trajectory in this vertical?
So let me take my example. So I started my career as an intellectual property professional and moved into business development. In business development, since most of the pharma industry earlier was a generic pharmaceutical industry for international markets, I entered into the generic pharmaceutical company as a business professional. Then my company started exploring uh, even branded business or entering more specialty products or branded products in US or other developed markets. So as the organization grew, I also started handling technology products and getting them developed within the organization, doing market research for getting them developed within the organization so that we can be commercially successful. Uh, then I have recently moved into new markets. So China is one of the new pharmaceutical markets in which most companies are trying to enter, because it's a China was not very easy earlier as a regulatory country to enter, and slowly they are opening up. So currently I have taken up the role of trying to strategize as to how to enter China. So your growth trajectory in your career will depend on how your company grows in one, if you're working for the same company, or what different kinds of job profiles or what interests you during your career, and you usually move towards it. But since business development is strategic and requires a lot of growth areas, you might be able to enter any of the growth areas which either your company is interested in or you are interested in as a professional.
Okay, ma'am. Can you briefly tell us how does a pharmacy graduate or postgraduate chart his or her career to this role?
Sure, sure. So, I'm currently, you could like there are entry level positions for business development professionals, and you could apply for any of them if you would like to enter at the start for business development or even portfolio management, alliance management. There are a lot of openings even for alliance management because many companies are collaborating today in the pharma world, and they require people to manage the relationship and the product. So those are entry level positions you could enter in. Secondly, if you would business development can also be entered into as a lateral movement later on in your career, uh, after you specialize in some certain department or function in your organization. You may prefer to do it in the way in which suits you or your career or your interests. But both options are usually available. But the lateral movement is more or less dependent in if your company is offering it and if there is a opening.
Okay, ma'am. Does one need to upskill oneself with any additional certifications to enter this role?
As far as I am aware, currently there aren't certification programs for business development, uh, which are like local for the Indian pharmaceutical industry, cater to them. Uh, but if you would like to demonstrate interest in your interview, or if you would like to do, you could do something related to finance, or like many online courses, like there'll be on Coursera, or some universities would be offering courses on strategic alliance, or business development, or strategic management, or something. Uh, Such courses might be done to just demonstrate interest, uh, but they are not mandatory because they are not directly applicable to the job. So it's like something which it's a good to have kind of a thing. Uh, you might also read up more on if you're interested in entering business development. You might read more on licensing happening in the on different pharmaceutical products currently. That would also help you give examples during your interviews to demonstrate interest.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your experiences. It was really insightful. We are so grateful to you for having shared with us the nuances of this functional area in such detail. And I'm sure many of us here have heard a few things for the first time. So thank you very much for that. I would now like to open this forum to the audience for their questions. We already have a few questions in the chat box. So the first question is business development different from a marketing function, or are both of them the same?
Sure. So both of them are quite different. Business development is the start or is the ideation of a project, and marketing is the commercialization of the project. It's usually the end. After the product has been developed, you then market it. So that's the final step in the product life cycle, if I may say. Like usually marketing functions will collaborate a lot with business development, and like vice versa, to be able to understand and identify new products and new uh, portfolio needs, and also they do work together in a lot of projects, but have different goals.
Okay. There's another question. Does one need to do an MBA before they can begin their career in business development?
It's a good to have thing. It's not mandatory. Like for me, I'm not an MBA. I did my postgraduate in pharmacy and enjoyed. And currently also we hire pharma professionals. It's a good to have. It is good to do it at some point of your career. So if you join business development after graduation, post graduation, and it would be good to then pursue part-time MBA or something along with your career. So it's a good to have thing, but it's not a must to have.
Okay, ma'am. So the next question is, since this role deviates from a core pharmacy job, does one need to develop analytics skills or financial knowledge which might end up being useful for this?
So you don't really deviate from your pharma knowledge because you are applying everything what you learn. But yes, in addition, you do require to analyze the market data and information. It's not a very detailed analytics. I'm not really sure if you need some analytics course. A little bit of finance knowledge would help, and such courses might be pursued later if you want to do like a diploma in finance or some MBA, online MBA or something. It might be pursued either when you're searching for jobs or during your career. They may be pursued. It helps you to understand your job better. But I can assure you it's not mandatory because we have a lot of team members who are not MBAs, and whatever analytical and financial skills are needed for doing business development can be learned on the job, or you can learn them by pursuing some courses during your job.
Okay. The next question is, can I get into a marketing role in the company and then move into a business development role or vice versa?
Sure, sure. Lateral movement is definitely something if your company offers. And if you are into marketing, you have a lot of domain knowledge, which would be very helpful for you as a business development professional. So it's very much possible. For a business development professional to enter as a marketing professional is also possible, but you'll have to learn, I think, a lot more skills in then marketing and selling. It's much more easier to switch from marketing to business development than from business development to marketing. So, like business development is more of a strategic role where you know a lot of other functions in part. So, if you specialize in any function, for that matter, even formulation or intellectual property or regulatory marketing, it's easier for you to switch to business development and allied functions. But to switch from any of the other function from business development to any of the other functions might be a bit difficult because you have not gained that domain knowledge uh, for it. It's not impossible, but it's a bit challenging.
The next question is, if I enter into the business development in the start of my career, can I move into other departments in the organizations? And if so, which one could I enter into?
So as I suggested in my previous answer, um, business development is usually a function most people enter. Like if you see, many people enter and stay with it. Uh, it is possible to shift from business development to alliance management, portfolio management, project management, which are more allied functions. But if you would like to switch from business development to an R&D function or a manufacturing or a quality or a more technical function or a more domain knowledge required function, it's difficult because you haven't gained the expertise or the depth of that domain to be able to function. If you switch within the first 2 3 years, it's not an issue. But if you would like to switch after a lot of time in the business development team, depending on what skill set you have developed, if you have developed a certain skill set of, uh, of being able to have that particular function domain knowledge, you might be able to switch. But currently, that's not normally what is done in industry, but you never know. But that's not really the norm.
We have one more question. Is post-graduation a necessity to break into this role?
So I would say not really. It's again good to have because one is it's easier to get a job, if I may put, because you're better qualified and companies would look to having people who have more technical and research knowledge, even in business development. And if your project is something on what they are trying to do or shows your ability to be able to do in depth into something. So, in general, even for your career trajectory, it helps with a post graduation. So, I would suggest that it's not mandatory to have post graduation, but it's good to have, and it's a post graduation either in pharmacy or in like management or something does help you in your career to grow forward in your career.
Okay, ma'am. We have one more question. As you said right now, MBA is not a necessity to enter into business development. Is there anything else that is mandatory?
If you are a pharma professional, most probably when you would be interviewed, one is your technical knowledge, which would be tested, and secondly, it would be your communication skills. I think this is something which is most important for a business development professional, uh, that you have clear, crisp communication. And I think usually people who enter business development, or when we select people for this role, we try to see people who have or a better communicator.
Any other questions the audience would like to ask? I think this is something which is not found in research. When we try to find out what it offers, it's a little difficult for us. So if there are any further questions, this is your opportunity to ask questions.
So in the meantime, while more questions are coming in, I would like to add something. So currently there is also the pharma industry is growing in India, and it's entering into more branded or more specialty or more higher end research products in pharmaceuticals. So we are also preferring to have more postgraduates. I think PhDs are welcome in the business development teams, because if you are trying to license biologics, for example, you require someone who is able to understand better about them. So there is most people with different backgrounds or different projects are welcome to enter this channel.
So actually, Shweta, I had one question. Now, you said that for this role, to be successful, and there are a lot of challenges also, and communication is extremely important and things like that. We are all from the science background, and when we're doing pharmacy, all of the students here will agree that they are so busy through the day, and through all the 4 years we really don't know how it goes away, the 4 years. Now, if I was a student today and I have to enter into business development, I need to equip myself with certain things. I have this inhibition whether I'll be able to talk properly, I can do this properly. Any advice to aspiring, students, how they can groom themselves and, get them ready for this profession?
I feel that this generation is naturally a very good communicator.
That is true.
Unlike Pritika, I was very impressed with the way you're conducting. Yeah, because I don't think at that level I would have been able to do this. So I feel this generation is more blessed than
that. I think I agree with you. Yeah.
They have more confidence, more ability to communicate.
True.
Yeah. They're better placed in life.
Yeah, that is true. It comes naturally to them. Yeah. But any tips or advice you would like to give them, as they prepare themselves to graduate and look forward to this role?
So what I would tell you, I would just again take my example. When I finished my M-Pharm, or I was doing my M-Pharm, during my M-Pharm, I had a project in which I had to use a tableting machine, HPLC and everything. And I figured, okay, I will not be able to actually work in the lab. This is not what suits me. But I was excellent at reading and being able to keep reading on something new, assimilate information. And I had identified that, okay, this intellectual property is an upcoming field and let me join it. What I would advise you is like spend some time just for yourself and try to understand like during your studies or during your life, what have you enjoyed doing and what you have not enjoyed doing. And select a role or choose a role for you which you would enjoy doing, because it's much easier in life to work on something which you enjoy rather than trying to do something and try to excel at something which you're really not enjoying. So spend some time. We are at a junction where you all can spend some time with yourselves, understand, and I think like this is where Geeta is also helping in trying to understand your skill sets. I believe so. Try and understand what you like to do and join a similar role. Don't try to join a role just because either your friend is joining or I came and said on this platform that okay, this is an excellent role, or you feel this would give you more money or something like that. Don't join for all those reasons. Join it if you think you would enjoy it. And anyways, your initial career years are more of experimentation. So you might try out different things to be able to understand yourselves better to further progress in your career.
Yeah, that was a very good advice. Thank you, Shweta. I think we have just one more question from one of the participants here. Basically, what she wants to know is if she has to research a little more about business development, how does she go about it?
Google business development, Google pharmaceutical business development, Google in licensing in pharmaceutical world. Go to Pharma, which gives a lot of Pharma News, where you will be able to read international licensing deals. I think like we start reading a lot more pharma news where you will come across more and more, because news is usually has a lot more information on business development activities being conducted by the companies. And you can just otherwise read some, there will be, I'm sure there'll be business development, strategic books and all that also on Google or but for a more practical hands-on information, I think news, pharma news would be a good place to start to understand, okay, what each company is doing and give you some insights on how the Indian pharma world is.
That is good advice. Yeah. I think, Pritika, we have another question coming in here.
Yes, ma'am. Would you recommend doing a course on licensing, since you mentioned even you did so?
I haven't done a course on licensing, but if one is available, it's definitely, you could do it. You could go ahead and do it if it is available. It will be a good starting point to demonstrate that you are interested in it, and also for you to understand whether you like this field or not, or for you to understand more what this is about. So yeah, go ahead and do it.
Okay. So one more question is, Shweta, probably, do the, doing something in regulatory affairs, is it, it's also important for business development people to be well versed with the regulatory affair, this thing? Or it's a separate department, so, but do you need to understand?
Also, regulatory affairs is a separate department.
Right.
A business development professional requires to know some amount of it, but that is something again you learn on the job, and
Okay.
you need not be an expert on it. So business development, actually the best part or the worst part of being in business development is that you don't need to be an expert on anything. You're jack of all trades but master of none. And like your job is more of collaborating, understand a bit about everything, and be able to see the big picture and have a strategic vision. So you need not be, you should be able to see from a 30,000 feet or a 10,000 feet, because you'll have a lot of help to be able to really work out the finer details of the project and how to execute the project. The execution of the project will have a lot of different functions which will take over. Like how should I register this product? You'll have the regulatory team pitching in and helping you with that strategy. What are the patterns on this product? Are they strong, not strong, helpful, not helpful? You'll have your intellectual property team helping you on that. Is this product can we develop this product or not? Your R&D team will help you and will let you know and help you in knowing it. Your job is to be able to ask them the right questions and get the right answers. So you need to know enough, and you learn that on your job to be able to put forward the right questions and get back the right answers. But you need not know how to really do the job of each and every function. So that's why it's easier to switch from any of these functions, even from marketing, regulatory, IP, R&D, formulation. It's easier to switch to BD because you have some background knowledge or some domain knowledge.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah, Pritika, continue.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for answering all the questions, and thank you for asking these questions in the first place. I would now, on behalf of platform, like to express our sincere thanks to you, Shweta ma'am, for taking the time to address us and give us a great preview of this critical functional area of the pharma industry. I would also like to express my thanks to all the participants on this forum today. It's my request to everyone, if you can now turn on your videos so that we can capture a picture of this session.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. We would also like to update you that we at Platform will be coming out with our next capsule on manufacturing, quality control, and quality assurance in the pharma industry and the career opportunities for pharmacy students. So we request you to please watch out for the link and register yourselves for yet another session in our InFocus series. If you have any further queries, please do write us at connect@platform.in, and please follow us on our social media pages for updates, news, and posts. Until next time, when we meet again, please take care and stay safe and healthy. And thank you again, everyone. Have a great evening. Thank you, ma'am, again for joining us today.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Shweta, for this insightful session for all of us. And it's thank you all students, and last but the most important, thank you, Preetika, for hosting this session for us today.
Thank you, Geeta.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.